They were saying yesterday they hadn't ruled him out for this weekend, that there's talk of him coming back that soon. D. Wood, high ankle sprain. What do you make of this?
This is almost like inhuman, because I've had high ankle sprains, and high ankle sprains can be worse than a broken leg. It can literally be that serious, and for him to possibly not even miss a game.
Well, he missed one, but we'll see if he only misses one.
He's not going to play this week. And then next week they have a short week, a Thursday night game against the Patriots. I think the hope would be to get him back for that game, but you're not going to rush your franchise back, and we'll just have to see.
Are you or are you not? Is he just saying that? I mean, that's really the question here. Shouldn't everyone be approaching this with an abundance of caution, including Saquon himself?
He is your most prized asset right now. I mean, he's the most valuable player on your team. And here's the problem I think the Giants are. They're looking at the division. They're 2-2. They're a game out of first. And so I think they're kind of believing in their mind a little bit that maybe we're a playoff team, which I don't think anybody believes that except for maybe them. And so they may rush one of their guys back. We just watched Andrew Luck retire. We just watched Cam Newton, who they've kind of denied some of these injuries for in the past 2 years, and look at what he's become. Rest your guy. Get him healthy. This is not a playoff season. Make sure he's ready to go so that when you are ready and your team is built in 2 years or maybe even next year, he's not washed up and he can still do it.
I'm looking right at you, D. Wood. I mean, would you, if you're Saquon Barkley, you going out there as fast? We all respect the idea he wants to go out there as fast as he can, but we all know what the circumstances are with these running backs and everything else.
Listen, Greeny, I've done it. I've shot it up, done it, been out there. That's just a player's mindset. Players want players.
You got to protect them from themselves.
Yeah, well, that's coaches and medical staff do.
Yes.
But Bobby, you and I both know players. We're going to do whatever we have to do to get back out there on the field.
I get it, and so someone has to, I think, sit him down. I think, Shefty, I like your plan. You're not going to play this week. Short week coming up after that, and then we'll have the conversation. Did John Gruden sort of trade a championship to the Bears? Do the Bears have a championship caliber football team because Khalil Mack is on their defense?
They have a championship caliber defense.
Yes.
But I don't know if they're a Super Bowl team.
Is that because of the era in which we play? Because we've seen Tampa do it without a great offense. We've seen the Ravens do it without a great offense. Can you still do it that way?
Because I don't believe in Mitchell Trubisky. That's why. Their defense is spectacular, but in this era of professional football, quarterback play is paramount. I'm not a big believer in Mitchell Trubisky right now.
You agree?
Yeah, as he was saying that, all those things were coming to my mind because they look better with Chase Daniels. Like, this defense is fantastic, and the biggest fear that I have for the Bears is they may end up wasting one of the generationally great defenses that we're going to see here over the next 10, 15 years. But they can get to the quarterback. They can run the football. They have the weapons. They've got everything that they need, but they just have to have efficient quarterback play. Chase Daniels gave them some of that, but to go back to Khalil Mack, the guy's the best edge player in the game right now. He plays the run as well as anybody out there, and he can get after the passer. And when you're playing your former team, is what anybody can tell you, he's going to be turned all the way up. This will be a great game for Khalil Mack.
And I love that locker room session. We're talking about repressing feelings and suppressing emotions.
Yes.
I didn't realize it was going to be like a therapy session there in the Bears locker room, and that reporters could ask such probing questions like that.
But the truth of the matter is, and I don't know if he was kidding or not when he said it, but Gruden, I remember when he was asked about Antonio Brown and the comparison with Khalil Mack, he said, well, at least I got to meet Antonio Brown. They never even met each other, right?
Well, John Gruden repeatedly reached out to Khalil Mack. He never responded to one of his phone calls. They'll finally get the chance to talk this week in London a year later.
As we sort of assess 1/4 of the way into the season, the Kyler Kingsbury marriage and situation, what do we say about it?
I think it's a lot of what we were saying last year about Steve Wilkes and Josh Rosen. This roster isn't very good. Kyler Murray has looked okay. He's been able to break some tackles. His arm looks live. It looks like he gets through his reads. But to expect them to go out there and set the world on fire with their offensive line not really being able to protect him, and without position players on the perimeter that can break tackles and make plays for you outside of David Johnson, I'm seeing a lot of what I expected to see.
I'm smiling as I ask Damien Woody the following question. What do you think of this air raid offense?
We got a trash can around here?
Wow.
Man, listen, because everyone thought he was going to be revolutionary coming in. People thought Chip Kelly was going to be revolutionary coming in. But you know what? The game still comes back to the fundamentals. Blocking, tackling, throwing, catching. And the one thing the Cardinals don't do well, They don't block. So it doesn't matter what type of scheme that you have out there or a Cliff Kingsbury offense, Kyler Murray. If you can't block them, Greeny, it doesn't matter.
I like big men with props. Someone hand him that garbage. Go ahead, turn around, D. We brought you a trash can right there. And here's some paper that I'm not. Go ahead, throw that away. Just throw that away. That's it. That's the air raid offense. What are you hearing? It feels Kyler Murray somehow won the Heisman, chose football over baseball, was the #1 pick in the draft, came in with this controversially hired coach, and 4 weeks into the season, it's like they don't even exist.
Well, I think he's shown he can play, but it's early and it's going to take time. And right now, they haven't won a game yet. They're winless. And so it's not like people are talking about the Arizona Cardinals when we could be talking about Gardner Minshew mania in Jacksonville instead. There are other storylines, players, teams, cities that have garnered more interest than Arizona. It just seems like more of the same for a team that has struggled and not won football games and not been overly relevant so far.
Well, then I'll just ask my question that I was asking around the time of the draft, and it's like the worst possible scenario. He's on pace to get sacked 80 times, and he's a man who was not any bigger than I am. Can that possibly be sustainable?
Sustainable. You look at two quarterbacks that have been beat up, and I keep referencing these guys. Andrew Luck, Cam Newton are both massive humans, and it's taking their toll on them after 7 years. So he's going to get broke. He'll be Deshaun Watson 2.0 if they don't start protecting these two young quarterbacks.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.